First, I want to thank you all for coming and engaging in this divine lecture. This is going to be a powerful one. I want to start off this one a little differently. I want to start off asking the audience, the people listening and perceiving this information, to stand in the place that you know absolutely nothing. To stand in the moment that you completely know nothing for sure. Nothing. That's a lot to ask from, because when I ask something like that, the ego automatically begins to, I know everything. I know a lot. That's what the ego is going to do right up back when somebody asks. Stand in the place that you know nothing. But to stand in a place that you know absolutely nothing, you're open to know more than you already knew. And by being open to more there than we already knew, that is our creative power. Everything we know has been a part of the program. And by studying and learning and getting new information, bit by bit, we're elevating within the program. We're tweaking our consciousness by studying and gathering information. But the whole purpose of the information that we seek to study to get is to tweak our consciousness. What do I mean by that? That means that once you ascertain this information, your perception about yourself, your experience, your universe, the race, the European, your perception begins to change once the consciousness is tweaked. Now that means that how we have studied history and what we learned about the greatness of ourselves back in ancient times begin to change the way we see phenomena now. That's deep. That means when we look at our opticals, our eyes, we see a different world based upon how we have changed our consciousness. Now, to the degree that consciousness has changed, we consider someone conscious, right? And to the degree that consciousness have not changed, we consider them unconscious. Now, a lot of people can store information, read information and store it, but that don't mean their consciousness has changed. That just means they have stored information. I'll give you an example. We're working with tools. Say we're carpenters, and we're making things. And we want to learn about using a different type of drill, not drill, say a different type of tool. Let's say a jackhammer. We want to learn how to use it. But we read information by it. And I'll even simplify it because a lot of people don't know nothing about a jackhammer. I'll say a remote to some piece of technology. Say a VCR or a DVD recorder or something like that. We want to learn how to use this device. So we read the manual. But when we read the manual, we don't understand how to use the remote. But we just read the manual. We haven't crossed over the information. What happened? Our consciousness about utilizing the remote has not changed. But we had the information though. We read the book. But then when we begin to play with the remote and use it, then we begin to what? Evolve our interaction with the device. Is this right? Now in a moment of using the remote and trying to operate it, our consciousness begins to evolve in that second. And then we begin to use it better. So that means that information in the remote, in the manual, was relevant. But its ultimate relevance was how we were able to change our consciousness in regards to how we interacted with the device. Now let's take the remote out of it and let's look at the universe. And let's look at our historical information, and let's look at the information on the walls of the pyramids as the manual. Many people have read the manual. They know the hieroglyphic language. They know the chants. They understand who the deities were that were on the walls. But they are not able to take that information and become interactive in the universe based upon consciousness. But that's the point that we're ultimately trying to arrive our people at when we say conscious. We don't mean informed. We mean that their perception is transformed in a way where they interact to the universe differently, where they interact to the European differently, where they interact to the people of their own race differently, when they interact to the limitations of the European's laws, of his system, of his reality, of his education.